It's Monday, the 24th of June, and I'm getting a lot of questions about the situation with the Rapidan Dam in southern Minnesota. Let's check it out. My name's Juan Brown. You're watching the Blanco Lirio channel, and as you know, we learned a lot from the failure of the Oroville spillway and rebuild here in Northern California. The Rapidan Dam is located in southern Minnesota here on the Blue Earth River, which flows from south to north into the Minnesota River, which continues to flow north in towards Minneapolis, and then eventually merges with the Mississippi River right at the airport, Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport. Here at the Rapidan Dam Cafe is a lot of good information on this dam. A great small ma and pa shops set up to serve coffee and pie. Here's the placard near the store that explains about the dam. The Rapidan Dam is a Amberson-type hollow reinforced concrete dam that was built back in 1908 and finished in 1910. Apparently they had one fatality while they were building the dam. The height from the top of the dam to the stream bed is 87 feet and the length is 475 feet. It's got 5 steel tainter gates and 2 timber gates, which we'll be able to see. This power plant runs 2 turbines, 600 cubic feet per second, producing 2.5 million watts each. I don't know what the current flow is, but the record flood of 1965, this dam experienced 43,100 cubic feet per second. Here's a good picture of the dam under normal operations showing the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tainter gates controlling the flow of water and the 1, 2 timber gates. They're basically just boards controlling the flow of water out of these 2 gates here. Here's what the tainter gates look like, kind of a radial arm gate sort of affair, very common in dam construction. Now, I've not heard of an Amberson dam before, but apparently Amberson built a lot of these dams, and he used a hollow construction technique back in the early 1900s over about 100 different dams here in the United States. Now, in some of these dam designs I see, according to Wiki, some of these hollow designs have been required by the FERC, the Federal Energy Regulation Commission, to fill the hollow concrete dams with additional concrete. And I'm not sure if that's the case with this particular dam. But to be clear, this is a concrete dam, and this is the left abutment, even though it's on the right side of your screen, and this is the right abutment on the left side of your screen, because dam terminology is always given from looking downstream from the dam. And what's happened here is they've had a whole lot of rain recently, causing some rising waters and some flooding, and the 5 tainter gates have gotten pretty well plugged up with debris. And this debris has caused the water to back up, and the water needs to go somewhere. So what the water has done, seeking the path of least resistance, is it's blown out the west side, or on the left, beyond the left abutment, and has completely bypassed the dam in what appears to me, and I'm not clear if this was the intent of the original design, but this may very well have been the emergency spillway portion of this dam. Now, if this was the emergency spillway, well, it is now, regardless if it was by design or not. This is an earthen structure. One thing we've learned over all of our studying of dams in the past and dam failures is it's okay and it's safe to overtop a concrete dam with some water, but if you overtop any type of a earth-filled structure, it will immediately fail. So whether this was the emergency spillway by design or not, this earth over here has just been immediately cut away and allowed the relief of pressure of the water on this dam. So as a result, the concrete portion of this dam is still intact. So in the headlines, they're calling it imminent dam failure, but up to this point, it looks like the dam is holding up just fine. Well, it's probably pretty severely damaged, and the water is being bypassed, and I suspect the water levels are beginning to come down. Now, I just listened to the local sheriff explain the situation as to why he's not declaring any additional evacuations downstream of this dam, is because he figures, or the engineers figure, that even if this dam did completely fail, that the water downstream would only rise by an additional 2 feet. So the current water levels downstream are about 28 feet, and so that would bring it up closer to 30 feet. So that's for the city of Mankato downstream. So again, looking at the dam before the flooding, the Blue Earth River has a big oxbow here, and this dam backs up and forms the Rapidan Lake behind the dam. Here's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tainter gates and the 2 wood gates over here on the right abutment. And there's the powerhouse, the 2 turbines to the powerhouse here. And so you see this structure around the left abutment of the dam. This is where the water has gone. Whether this is by design as an emergency spillway or not, that's basically what it's done. But what's holding this left abutment in place is all this bedrock located right here. And if we look at those flood pictures again, it looks like that bedrock is holding up the left abutment in good shape. And that's the fear here, is if you've got an emergency spillway that's so close to the abutment of the dam, you lose the connection between the dam and its hard rock abutment, and that will easily cause the dam to begin to fail. But right now, it looks like this hard pan, or this bedrock right here is holding up. Now, looking at the most current pictures, this earth here has been eroded all the way back to this white house here. The Rapidan store is located on the other side of the street behind these trees, so it appears to be safe out of harm's way at this time. But there was a building located in here that has since been destroyed. This building here is now gone. Here's that white house. These trees have been eroded away, and then the Rapidan Dam Cafe, say that 3 times fast, appears to be out of harm's way at this time over here. By the way, this real crystal clear aerial imagery on Facebook comes to us from Aerial Imagery Media. Right there. One of the other concerns that the sheriff mentioned was the buildup of debris downstream from the dam at the various bridges. Looks like there's a couple of bridges that the river crosses under that they're concerned about debris building up and undermining or damaging the bridges downstream. So there's some good live action shots from Fox 9 Minneapolis available here on YouTube of the current situation. Here we can see the erosion of the power lines, where the power has since been cut off from the powerhouse, and probably the powerhouse is totally flooded and probably ruined by now. Here you can see the water pouring out of the very top of the powerhouse, ruining any electrical generators that may have been located in there. And here's a good view of the left abutment, still showing good signs of structural integrity. But if this water begins cutting too much into this left abutment, that's what could lead to imminent failure of the entire dam. And here's a good view from looking behind the dam. You can see the debris, how much the debris has just completely clogged up these 5 tainter gates, and how close that water is to overtopping this concrete dam. Again, since it's a concrete dam, it could tolerate some overtopping, as opposed to an earth-filled dam, which would fail immediately. Here's the local sheriff, Paul Barta, explaining the current situation.
Well, I think what we maybe want to do is real quick just touch on what led up to what happened with it. The dam has, seen a significant amount of debris that has come in contact with it and affected its ability to free flow water through the actual structure. And when that happens, of course, the river has to find a pathway to get that water flow through that area. And what it did then was move around the dam to the west side of it. So I believe there was some earlier communication that went out talking about the imminent threat to the dam. I don't think that's inaccurate. That's the messaging that went out. But I think it's important for everybody to understand projections on even a failure of that dam, or if that dam would have a complete failure, the water levels were expected to rise about 2 feet. From what they had been. Okay, so that river has been flowing around that dam for the better part of today. Free flowing that water, and actually there's probably less pressure on it right now because of the new pathway that river has cut to the west side of where it had been normally flowing through.
So that was Captain Paul Barta from the Blue Earth County Sheriff's Department explaining the current situation, and hopefully they'll be out of the woods with this damn situation at this time. Thank you so much for your support of this this channel, especially the folks over on Patreon that make this content possible. See you here.